writing on the wall. When I was younger, there was a ruined building at the bottom of our street. All of the kids in the area kept well away from it because the rumor was that it was haunted. The concrete walls of the old two-story building were cracked and crumbling. The windows were broken and shards of glass lay all over the floor inside. One evening, as a test of courage, my best friend and I decided to explore the creepy old place. We climbed in through a window at the back of the building. The whole place was dirty and there was a layer of mud on the wooden floor. As we dusted ourselves off, we looked up and were shocked to see that someone had written the words "I am dead" on the wall near the ceiling. Probably just some teenagers trying to scare kids, I said. Yeah, probably, replied my friend nervously. We explored more of the rooms on the ground floor. In a room that appeared to have once been a kitchen of sorts, we found more writing on the wall. It read, "I am in a room upstairs." We walked up the creaking stairs to the second floor. I led the way and my friend followed close behind. I wasn't scared, but he was beginning to get a little jittery. When we came to the top of the stairs, we turned left and walked cautiously down the narrow hallway. At the end of the hallway was a closed door with some more ominous writing on it. "You will find me in this room." By now, my friend was shaking with fear. I was quite creeped out too, but I didn't want to show it. He told me he didn't want to go any further, but I insisted, telling him there was nothing to be afraid of. I turned the handle and the door creaked open. We stepped into the room and found it empty. There were two closed doors on either side. There was more creepy writing on the wall. It read, "My head is on the left and my body is on the right." As soon as my friend saw this, he completely lost his nerve. He gave a yelp and turned to run away. I caught hold of his arm, but he shook me off and fled out through the open door. I heard his footsteps disappearing off down the hallway. I held my ground. I was determined to be brave and overcome my fear. Mustering all my courage, I opened the door on the right and walked inside. I walked to the other side of the room and on the wall, written in tiny letters, were the words, "My body is underneath." I looked down at the floor. I was standing on some more writing on the floorboards. I stepped back and saw the words, "My head is coming from the room behind you. Turn around." I heard the door behind me creaking and quickly turned. There was a shadow moving behind the door. Suddenly something rolled into the room and came to a rest against the wall. It was my friend's severed head. His dead, sightless eyes seemed to stare at me. Screaming in horror, I flung myself out through the open window and fell 2 stories to the ground. I landed on my side, breaking my arm. In horrible pain, I ran home, crying and yelling for my parents. The police were called and they searched the old ruined building. At first, they didn't find anything. There wasn't even any writing on the wall. They combed the house from top to bottom, but didn't find any traces of my friend. Then they pried up the floorboards. His body was lying underneath. They never found his head. Video camera. A few years ago, there was a young man named Brian who went to university. He didn't have enough money to live in the campus accommodation, so he had to rent an apartment on his own in the city. After he had been living there alone for a while, he began to notice some strange things happening. Often, when he came back from college, the curtains in his bedroom would be drawn, when he distinctly remembered having left them open when he left that morning. At other times, some of his belongings seemed to have been moved and other possessions were nowhere to be found. These strange occurrences started to creep Brian out, so the young man decided to talk to his friends, Trisha and Alex, about the situation. They met him at a local diner and, over coffee, he told them all about the strange things he had noticed. "Maybe I'm just being paranoid," said Brian. "But I just get the sneaking suspicion that someone is breaking into my apartment during the day, while I'm at university and—" "And what?" interrupted Alex. "Rearranging your curtains and moving your stuff around? Who in their right mind would bother doing that?" "It sounds crazy, but you might have a stalker," said Trisha. "It's a possibility. If it's true, I think the best thing to do is contact the police." What can the police do? Asked Alex. They're not going to spend their time keeping your apartment under surveillance. Besides, there's no damage to any of your things. There's no sign of a break-in. In short, there's no evidence. So what options then? Pleaded Brian. I can't just do nothing. I know how you can put your mind at ease, said Tricia. It's easy. Just get a video camera, set it up in your bedroom, and leave it running when you go to college. If you really do have a stalker, you can show the tape to the police as evidence. You know, that's a great idea, said Brian. And if you're really just paranoid and crazy, you can show the tape to your psychiatrist, joked Alex. That night, Brian borrowed Tricia's video camera and brought it home. The very next morning, he hid it discreetly under some folders on his desk. Before he went to college, he pressed the record button and left the running. During the day, while he sat taking notes and lectures, the young man forgot all about the video camera. It was not until he arrived home and went into his bedroom that he remembered his plan. Taking the video camera out of its hiding place, he pressed the stop button. Then he took out his mobile phone and called his friend. Hey, Tricia, he said. I just got home. I'm going to watch the video. Cool, said Tricia. Don't hang up. Tell me if you see anything. He pressed play and watched the recording on the video camera's tiny screen. He saw himself leaving for university in the morning and closing the bedroom door. Then, there was nothing. He pressed fast forward and scanned through the video. The room was empty. Still nothing, he said. I can wait, replied Tricia. Anyway, there's nothing worth watching on TV at the moment. OMG, cried Brian as he pressed play on the camera. What? What? Tricia begged excitedly. The door's opening, said Brian. It's a woman. What's she doing? Asked Tricia. Just standing there. Closing the door. Walking around. OMG. So weird. What does she look like? Can't see her face. Long, black, stringy hair. Tattered dress. Do you know her? No, don't recognize her at all. She's carrying a knife. A big kitchen knife. She's going through my trash. Now, she's picking up my clothes and sniffing them. Ugh. Gross. What's wrong with her? She's going over to the closet. She just got into the closet. Fast forward and see if she does anything else. He scanned through the video for a while, but the room was empty. You know what this means, said Brian. I have the evidence now. I can go to the police and they'll take me seriously. I know, said Tricia. They'll have to. Alex is totally going to freak when he sees this. No doubt. He didn't believe you, but I did. I know. You're a good friend. OMG. What? What? Brian pressed play again. The door's opening again, said Brian. Who is it? Asked Tricia. Oh, it's okay, said Brian. It's just me coming home from college. He watched himself on the screen, shutting off the camera. Let's go to the police now, said Tricia. I'll go with you. We can show them the tape. Okay. I'll meet you at the diner in 15 minutes, said Brian as he grabbed the video camera. Okay. Wait a minute, said Tricia. You said she got into the closet. Did she ever leave? Brian, did she ever get out of the closet? A chill ran down Brian's spine. Behind him, he heard the closet door creak open. Brian! Get out of there, screamed Tricia, but it was too late. The phone went dead. When she tried to call him again, there was no answer. Later that evening, the police found the body of the 18-year-old college student lying in a pool of blood. He had been stabbed 21 times. The video camera was clutched in his cold, dead hands. When the police examined the camera, they discovered that the memory card was missing. No trace of the woman was ever found. Right now, she could be hiding in your closet.